Dear students of class 6, I welcome you all and I am very happy to be with you today. I am SIJU. I am going to teach History, Chapter 1, What, Where, How and When. Topics which we will learn today are 1. Meaning of history. 2. Importance of history. 3. Parts of history. 4. Where did people live? Let us start with the first topic, meaning of history. History, it can be said as his story, the story of a man, the past events, what all problems man faced and how he solved it can be understood from history. History can be described as it is the study of past events, their causes and results. Now children, let us move to the next topic, importance of history. Why it is important to study history? History tells us about the life of great men, great teachers like Gautam Buddha and Mahavira, great emperors like Ashoka and Akbar. From history only, children, we can understand how common people became great men. Children, history even tells us how languages developed with time. Ancient people had different ways to communicate, and slowly the languages developed with time. Earlier, these people used sign language to communicate between them. But today we have many different languages. Thus, history tells us from where languages developed. Children, history tells us about the food the earlier people used to eat, the way of dressing, the ornaments they used. History only tells how the earlier people used to live their life. Children, history connects past with present. Today, what all we get and experience is a gift from the past. The beginning of all this is from the past. History connects the past with the present. For example, transportation. Earlier people walked and slowly they developed bullock carts. And today we have metros. So we can see how the development of wheel took place from the past to the present. Children, history tells us about the past beliefs, customs, traditions, and how people are different in different places. From history only, we can know about the earlier, the ancient, the olden times people, their ways, how their tradition was, and what was their beliefs. Children, history is a great teacher also. Many past events like wars happened. The First World War, the Second World War, and from history only we can understand what and how destruction happened, how difficult it was for the people to live after these wars. So, history even teaches us it is good and important to avoid any kind of wars. Now children, let us move to the next topic, the parts of history. We can divide past into prehistory and history. In prehistory, we do not have any information in writing. People did not know how to read and write. They lived in caves because they were not knowing how to build houses. We get information about this period from unwritten sources. Now, what is unwritten sources? Unwritten sources are the things found buried in the ground like bones, potteries, etc. The things which those people used in the prehistoric time. From those things only we can get information about the prehistory. Now history. History is the period about which informations are available. There was no means to write, but still the people used to write, and they used palm leaves, bark of birch trees which is found on the Himalayas. They used to write on the stone also. Even on the skin of animals like sheep and goat, they wrote. Children, now let us move to the last topic. Where did people live? People lived along the Narmada river banks for several 100,000 years. They were skilled gatherers as they gathered food from the forest, roots, etc., and hunted animals. Thus, skilled gatherers are those people who knew about the vast wealth of plants in the surrounding forest and collected roots, fruits, and other forest produce for their food and hunted animals. Now children, can you identify Suleiman and Kirtar hills to the northwest in the map given in your book on page 2? Here, women and men first began to grow crops like wheat and barley around 8,000 years ago. They even started rearing animals like sheep, goat, cattle. Now children, can you locate the Garo hills and Vindhyas in the map on page number 2? These are the areas where agriculture was developed. The place where rice was first grown are to the north of the Vindhyas. Children, can you now identify river Indus and its tributaries in the map given in your book on page number 2? Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, Sutlej. These are the 5 tributaries of river Indus. What is tributaries? Tributaries are the smaller rivers that flow into the larger river. So, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, Sutlej, all these are the river which flow into river Indus. So, these are the tributaries of river Indus. About 4,700 years ago, the earliest cities flourished on the bank of Indus River and its tributaries. Children, have you ever thought why civilization flourished in the river valley? Civilization flourished in the river valley because of abundance of water to support life. Fertile soil was available, which helped crops to grow. Rivers also facilitated the movement of goods and people and helped in the expansion of trade. Thus, later, about 2,500 years ago, cities developed on the bank of Ganga and its tributaries and the sea coast. Children, can you identify Ganga on the map? The tributaries of Ganga is called the sun. Ancient times, the area to the south of Ganga was known as Magad. Children, can you identify Magad on the map? Now, this Magad is in Bihar. The rulers in this area were very powerful and they had big kingdoms. This is the map of South Asia. It is also called a subcontinent because although it is smaller than a continent, it is very larger and separated from rest of Asia by seas, hills and mountains. It was very dangerous to travel from one continent to the other continent. But still, people used to travel. People traveled from one continent to the other continent even when the route was dangerous for their livelihood and to save themselves from natural disasters like flood, drought. Sometimes men marched in armies and used to conquer others' land. Even merchants traveled to sell their products. The religious teachers also traveled for giving instruction or to give advice or to do teaching. People traveled to discover new exciting places. Thus, there was a sharing of ideas between people over there. Children, let us now revise few important points. 1. Meaning of history. History is the study of past events, their causes and results. 2. Parts of history. History is divided into prehistory and history. In prehistory, we do not have written information. The information we receive are from unwritten sources, like which is found buried in the ground. History, we have written information available on palm leaves, bark of birch trees, stones, and the skin of animals. 3. Skilled gatherers. Skilled gatherers are those people who knew about the vast wealth of plants in the surrounding forest, and they collected roots, fruits, and other forest produce for their food and hunted animals. 4. Tributaries. Tributaries are the smaller rivers that flow into the larger river. Children, the assignment for this class: fill in the blanks. 1. Dash is the study of past events. 2. Dash is that period about which information is available in writing. 3. Rice were first grown in dash. 4. Dash are smaller rivers that flow into larger river. 5. Dash was the first kingdom to the south of Ganga. Children, we will discuss the answers in the next class. Till then, take care and be safe.